When my new stepsister starts poking her nose in my business, I knew that something was up. See, I'm not the average person who freaks out when you get a new stepmother or stepsister. I was actually welcoming them with open arms because my father deserves to be happy after mother passed away in a drunk driving accident. I didn't expect for my stepsister to come in and absolutely wreck my life. See, I just got accepted into my dream college, and now my father's saying that I have to split my tuition money with my stepsister, and then I won't be able to afford the college I want to go to. It's ridiculous, and I told them this. So, my dad just told me my college fund doesn't exist anymore because my stepsister's future needs more stability. Yeah, you read it right. I swear I must have been a stand-up comedian in my past life because the joke that is my life right now. It's got layers, punchlines, and a tragic backstory that could win an Oscar. Growing up, I had it good. Not a rich kid by any means, but real, genuine, happy family good. My parents were solid, always making time for me. My dad worked long hours, but when he was home, we had movie nights, weekend trips, and inside jokes that only we got. My mom, she was my safe place. The kind of mother who would stay up with me to bake a cake for a school fundraiser at 2 a.m. because I forgot to tell her until the night before. The kind of mother who made my Halloween costumes from scratch. Always hyped me up and somehow knew exactly what to say when I had a bad day. I used to think my family was unbreakable. Turns out I was living in something you call a fairy tale, and my happy ending was on borrowed time. It started small. Dad would come home later and later. At first I thought it was just work, but then mother starts crying at night. I remember waking up to muffled arguments, her voice raw, begging him to talk to her. And then the fight started happening. They happened in the daytime now. My dad, the man who used to rush home for dinner, started checking out. It was like he already was halfway gone before he actually left, and when he did, it broke my mom. At first she was just sad, like heartbreaking sad. The kind of sadness that drapes itself over you and refuses to leave. Then it turned into something else, better, sharp and angry. And since Dad was not around to be on the receiving end, guess who became the next target? That's right, me. At 12 years of age, I was too young to understand that grief makes people act in ways they would not act normally. All I knew was that my mother, who used to tuck me in with a smile, was now slurring her words, accusing me of taking his side, looking at me like I was some extension of his betrayal. And it hurt. It didn't matter that she'd come back later, sober, crying, holding me like I was her lifeline. The damage was done. When the divorce was final, the choice was clear. I lived with my dad. He was the stable one, the responsible person, the one who would not look at me with regret in his eye. And then, just when I thought things could not get worse, my mom died. Drunk driving. No survivors. 1 second she was here, the next she's gone. I think I screamed when they told me. I don't really remember much except feeling like the world was cracking up upon me. That's the thing about grief. It either pulls people apart or glues them together. And back then I thought that we were the latter. But man, oh man, was I wrong. 5 months after mother's passing, entered my dad's new wife and her daughter, Aubrey. Now, I wasn't one of those kids who lost their minds when a step-parent entered the picture. I actually welcomed them. I understood that my father deserved to be happy as well, so I made an effort. I included Aubrey in all sorts of things and went out of my way to go and bond with her. I tried everything. I mean, everything. Well, it didn't really work. At first, it was little things. Aubrey gets everything first. A new phone, some new clothing, a surprise trip and mission with a gold membership at my badminton coaching, while I was stuck being told to appreciate what I had. Yeah, okay, whatever. Maybe I wasn't the favorite, but I could live with that. Then I started noticing other things, like how my dad would take their side in every argument, how suddenly every decision was made with Aubrey in mind, how my input stopped mattering because Aubrey had an opinion and apparently hers was more important. 6 years in and I felt ignored in my own home. But the real betrayal, the one that made me see just how deep this went, my college funds. For years, my dad had promised me that no matter what, he had money set aside for my education. That even though we were not swimming in cash, I would not have to worry, and I believed him. Until a week ago, after my school results, when he oh so casually dropped that my college fund did not exist anymore. Why? Because apparently Aubrey needed it more. Her future need more stability. Excuse me, her future needs more stability? What do you mean? More than me, the daughter who lost her mother and chose you when she had nowhere else to go? More than me, who spent the last 6 years trying to be the bigger person, trying to be a part of this family while you try to prioritize your new one. More than me, huh? Who passed with distinction while she barely passed the exam. But no, Aubrey, the girl who already gets whatever she wants, she needs it more. Oh, guys, I don't even know what's worse. The fact that he did it all, or the fact that he did not even seem to care. Like, in his mind, this was a logical decision, and I was just being difficult for not seeing the bigger picture. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Stuck in a house that doesn't feel like mine, realizing that the only parent I've left isn't actually in my corner. I used to believe in family first, that if you love someone enough, you fight for them, you make sacrifices, and you put them first. But apparently that only applies when you're Aubrey. The worst part, I don't even have the sob story of being surprised. Oh man, I saw it coming. I just didn't want to believe it. Anyways, that's my story. If anybody knows how to magically conjure up college tuition money, let me know. Or better yet, if you've got a time machine, so I can go back and shake the 12-year-old me into choosing literally anything else, please hit me up. Updates number 1. So, remember how my dad stole my college fund for my stepsister's future stability? Yeah, well, turns out that was just the beginning of my villain origin story. For those of you who called me bitter last time, congratulations, you were right. But let's be real, if having my entire future ripped away while my stepsister thrived off what was meant for me doesn't make me bitter, I'd probably be a saint. Spoiler, I'm no saint. It's been 2 weeks and somehow things have managed to get worse. I thought losing my college fund was the ultimate betrayal, but apparently Father, Jessica, stepmother extraordinaire, and Aubrey, they were not done yet, because the moment that money was transferred to her, I basically ceased to exist in that house. Okay, let's start with the fact that while I'm over here scrambling for scholarships, working extra hours, and figuring out how to piece together my life, Aubrey's thriving. New laptop, check. Weekend shopping trips with stepmother, double check. College applications that I should have been filling out with money that was mine. Yeah, she's sending them out like she's royalty. And Dad has an example of an empire to fund her little lifestyle. Meanwhile, I'm out here hustling like a single mother of 3, trying to make sure I actually have a future at this point. It's bad, but the real thing. My father is acting like I'm the problem for making a big deal out of it, and apparently I should be grateful that I have a home, a supportive family, and that I'm even being given the opportunity to work for my education. Oh boy, that's just the surface level of this circus act. Well, after Dad made it abundantly obvious just how important my existence holds up in his home, Jessica and Aubrey have officially settled into their role as the real family. My childhood bedroom converted into a guest room because, quote, we never have visitors, but it's a good thing to be prepared. My birthday, reduced to a half-hearted, oh yeah, happy birthday, from Dad while Jessica and Aubrey were out celebrating something, probably Aubrey's latest purchase with my college money. The thing that once made this house feel home is gone, and the worst part, Dad refuses to acknowledge any of it. I tried bringing it up, hoping maybe, just maybe, he would at least pretend to see my side, but no. Instead, I got hit with the classic "you're being dramatic," followed by the infuriating "Aubrey is your sister now, you should learn to share." Oh yeah, let me just share the years of savings that were meant to secure my future, so my stepsister, who never made an effort to acknowledge me as her sister in these 6 years, can have the life I planned for myself. Makes total sense, right? And let's talk about the absurdity of this sister's narrative for a second. Because let's be honest, if the roles were reversed and I was the one who needed financial assistance, do you think Aubrey would be expected to share her college fund with me? Oh, please. The way these people operate, I'd be lucky if they even acknowledge I existed outside of being a problem. And Jessica, of course, is living her best life. I don't know what kind of brainwashing tactics that she used on my father, but the man is fully convinced she's some kind of saint. She needs to be in the CIA. Meanwhile, I can't count how many times I've caught her giving me that "why are you still here" look, like I'm an inconvenience in my own darn home. Well, newsflash, lady, this was my house before you, and your mini-me decides to waltz in like you own the damn place. But sure, let's pretend I'm the intruder here. Aubrey, on the other hand, is exactly what you would expect from somebody who has been handed everything on a silver platter. She acts like none of this is a big deal, because why would it be? She got everything she wanted, and I got nothing. It's funny how easy it is to be chill about injustice when you're the one benefiting from it. Honestly, the fact that she doesn't even acknowledge how messed up this is makes me hate her more than I probably should. But can you blame me? She didn't just take what was mine, she took my future, my security, and my place in this family without even blinking. Oh, and what's worse, I don't think she's ever seen me as a family person in the first place. Then came the final blow. My college application, which I should have been working on with my dad's support, were met with complete indifference. When I brought them up, hoping for even a sliver of the father who once cared, he smugly reminded me that money's tight right now, right? Yeah, money's tight for me, not for Aubrey, not for her little designer bags, her private college applications, or the endless streams of necessities she's apparently deserving more than I do. So here I am, working extra shifts, drowning in college applications, and basically living as a tenant in my own house, while my family acts like I'm just some phase my dad went through before he got his real daughter. And it's not even just about the money anymore. It's the way my dad looks at me, like I'm some burden that he has to tolerate instead of his actual kid. It's how Jessica has taken over the entire house, making decisions like she's always been in charge. It's how Aubrey walks around with this smug, self-satisfied attitude, knowing full well that she's the favorite and I'm the discarded extra. It's how my dad can justify all this to himself while still pretending he's a good parent. I used to believe in family, used to think that no matter what, blood mattered. At the end of the day, your family is supposed to be the people who have your back. But if this whole situation has taught me anything, it's the blood. This, means nothing when you're not convenient anymore. Anyways, for those of you who told me to stop being bitter, okay, congratulations, I'll give you this. You won. I'm bitter as hell, but let's be real, I have every single reason to be bitter. And the worst part, I still have not figured out how to stop caring. Update number 2. It's been exactly 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, I was drowning. And now, I'm still processing the absolute whiplash of how my life flipped upside down in ways I never saw coming, both in the best ways and worst ways possible. So remember how I was scrambling for scholarships, working myself into the ground, and basically being treated like an unwanted houseplant in my own home? Yeah, turns out someone else in my family actually gives a darn about me, my grandparents, the same grandparents I barely knew growing up because of years of drama with my father. They always kept their distance, and I assumed that they just weren't interested in having a relationship with me. But turns out, they were just kept at arm's length by my wonderful father who did not want them interfering in our lives. Well, guess what? They've been keeping tabs on me and my situation, and they interfered hard. When they reached out one day, I was coming back from school, a second work shift. I didn't know what to expect. I assumed they just wanted to check in or maybe offer some words of encouragement. What I didn't expect was for them to drop a whole $1 million check in my lap. Yeah, I rounded up, but it was like $456,000. To say I nearly passed out on the spot would be an understatement. Well, they made it very clear this money was for me, to fund my education, secure my future, and give me the fresh start I deserve. No strings attached, no obligation, just a genuine, heartfelt gift from family members who actually care. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. I wasn't going to have to fight tooth and nail just to get through college. I wasn't going to have to beg for scraps of what was supposed to be mine. For once, I actually had control over my own future. And then, of course, my father found out. And instead of being happy for me, Instead of showing even the slightest hint of relief that his daughter wasn't about to struggle her way through life, he lost his mind. Not because he was proud, not because he was grateful that I had options now, no. He was livid because he immediately demanded I split the money with Aubrey. According to him, it was only fair because apparently, since I once lived in the same house as Aubrey, I now owe her half of my literal life-changing inheritance money. You think I was some kind of lottery winner and not a kid who just got saved from financial ruin. The way he was acting, he threw out every excuse in the book. Family shares, fairness, responsibility. It's what a good sister would do. Oh, spare me. Oh, and my personal favorite, well, you grew up with resources in a home, so technically you owe us. Yeah, my own father actually tried to spin it as if I was in debt for him having a baby. Me. But he wasn't the only one jumping on the let's manipulate her into handing over her future train, because Jessica, the opportunist, immediately starts claiming that I would not even have this money if it weren't for them. As if her and my father's absolute failure of parenting somehow earned them a cut of my money. Well, and then of course there's Aubrey. Sweet, old, innocent, entitled little Aubrey. At first she played it off, casual like, oh, you don't really need all that money, right? Then it escalated. Suddenly she's acting like she deserves it, like it was some kind of personal betrayal that I would not just hand over, what, 500 grand? Because, well, just because she exists. Because she's used to getting everything she wants because Daddy said so. The moment I put my foot down and said absolutely not, the mask slipped. My father went from, oh, we're family, to you're being selfish, to if you don't share, you're out of this family in record time. He straight up threatened to cut me off completely if I didn't give Aubrey half. As if he had not already cut me off emotionally, the second he handed over my college fund to his new favorite thing. And you know what? I realized at that moment that I didn't care. I really, truly don't care, because what left is there to lose? I've already been phased out. I've already been replaced, and my childhood bedroom is a guest room. My birthdays are ignored, and my presence in this house is treated like an inconvenience, and the only thing left was the illusion of family that died the second he tried to extort me from my grandpa's money. So yeah, I told them no. No, I would not be handing over a single cent, and no, I don't owe them anything, and no, they were not entitled to a damn thing, just because they've been leeching off me for the last few years. And if that means my father wants to, quote, cut me off, cool. He already did the second he chose Jessica and Aubrey over me. Update number 3. You ever witnessed a level of audacity so mind-blowing that you almost have to admire it? That's where I'm at right now with my father, Jessica, and old Aubrey. I thought that I have seen it all, but apparently their entitlement, it knows no boundary. For those who have not been following, oh boy, I went no talk with my father after he stole my college fund from my stepsister and then lost his marbles when Grandpa swooped in and gave me $500,000. That should have been the end of it, right? Oh, I wish. The moment I refused to do the right thing and split my money with Aubrey, Jessica and Aubrey went full villain mode. It's been a week since they started a whole campaign to paint me as the selfish brain who ruined Aubrey's future. They called extended family members, made a dramatic social media post, and spun a sob story about how I was punishing them. You'd think I was some kind of heartless monster who left Aubrey to starve on the street. Jessica, in particular, was pulling out all the stops, sobbing to everybody about how I was ungrateful and how she and my dad sacrificed so much to raise me. Yeah, what sacrifices? She moved into my home, to my space, and drained my college fund dry. But sure, let's pretend she suffered. You want to know the worst part? Some people actually believe them. I started getting messages from distant relatives telling me that I should forgive my father and be the bigger person. And Aubrey, she decided that if she manipulated me and it didn't work, she would try to bully me instead. She took her tantrum to our badminton class, telling everybody I was jealous and a bitter stepsister who wanted to see her fail. I started getting these side eyes from random people at the stadium, and suddenly I'm the villain in my story, where she was the helpless victim again. But I wasn't about to roll over and take it. I did my homework. I gathered proof, showed the coach exactly what Aubrey was pulling, and made sure every lie she spread was exposed. And let me tell you, watching her get called out on the spot and punished for it was so satisfying. Aubrey went home crying like a baby, which of course led to surprise. My father calling in a fit of rage, demanding to know why I was bullying my sister. At this point, I'm done. I told him in no uncertainty that I wasn't playing his little happy family anymore. I wasn't giving him a dime, and I'm not playing his game. I certainly wasn't going to let them walk all over me. But you want to know his response? He gave me one last chance to make things right, and by make things right, he meant hand over my money and accept my place as the forgotten disposal daughter. So I did what I should have a long time ago. I laughed in his face and walked away for good. I packed my things and went to Grandpa, who happily took me in. I won't lie, I didn't even cry, because that's what I actually did the whole night, and my granny kept me warm, giving her little shoulder me to cry on. And when I thought I was done with my father, he tried legal action against me 2 days later. Yeah, legal action. He actually tried to argue through a legal paper that since we were one family, the money should be shared. Thankfully, Grandpa had made sure the money was legally mine and airtight against him. So pathetic. Such a pathetic attempt to do this, and, well, he got shut down. But the fact that he even tried? Ugh. Final update. Do you realize that no matter how much you try to give people the benefit of the doubt, they always find ways to show you who they are? That's where I'm at now, because a month ago I finally thought I wouldn't be writing again. Thought my father and this new family could not get any worse, but oh boy, I was wrong. So wrong. The day I blocked my father, Jessica, and Aubrey for good was the most peaceful breath I've taken in years. I wish I had done it sooner, but you know what they say, better late than never. It was my late mother's birthday a week ago, and since her memory pains me, I refuse to acknowledge her day. But seeing my lack of sentiment, my grandparents sat me down and handed me something my mother had written before she passed. A letter. A letter that shattered the last fragile thread holding me back from hating the man I once called Dad. See, for years, I thought my mother had just lost herself to alcoholism after my father became emotionally distant. I thought that she pushed me away because she could not handle life anymore. But the truth is, father had been having an affair before the divorce. Guess with who? Jessica. And when my mother found out, it broke her, and she wasn't weak, she was betrayed, gaslit, and abandoned by the one person she thought would stand by her forever. And when her drinking got worse, father used it as some excuse to paint himself as the victim and get full custody of little old me. Well, when I read the letter, I felt something inside me snap. Anger, grief, an overwhelming sense of betrayal. My mother had spent her last years drowning in pain, while my father played the loving, responsible parent and went off to build his perfect new family with the woman he cheated on Ma with. And I had unknowingly walked right into it, believing he was the better choice. So I did what needed to be done. I posted the letter on the gram. Yeah, where every single person in his life, relatives, co-workers, friends could see it, and I didn't even add a caption. Don't need it. And boy, oh, did the words speak for themselves. It did not take long for the fallout to hit. Relatives start calling, Jessica's out of here, his close friends start distancing themselves, but the real kicker, his company saw it, and turns out cheating on your wife, manipulating her into an alcohol-induced spiral, and then growing over your own daughter isn't the kind of PR a company wants. My father was let go from his cushy job because they could not have somebody with such questionable integrity representing them. Now, with no job, and a dwindling bank account, my father's barely scraping by, and it turns out Jessica and Aubrey aren't the ride or dies he thought they were. The second things got tough, they bounced. Arguments, tension, the whole deal. Apparently Aubrey's tuition isn't magically paying itself, and Jessica's dream of being the perfect housewife isn't happening when the money's not rolling in. Meanwhile, I took my money and moved into my own apartment just 30 minutes away from my grandpa's house and enrolled in my dream college, and for the first time, I get to live my life without constantly looking over my shoulder waiting for the next betrayal. Anyways, Grandpa has been my rock through all this, and for the first time in years, I feel like I have family again. And of course, my father eventually reached out via message. First, it was a fake concern. Oh, how have you been? Then it was a fake remorse. Oh, I miss you, kiddo. And finally, the real reason. Maybe we can talk about your college fund, since family helps each other out. I sent him one message before blocking his sorry butt. You replaced me once, you don't get to do it again now that I'm the one with something you need. And just like that, I walked away forever, permanently. It took me 18 years to realize that some people do not deserve second chances, and I will not waste my future giving them one.